Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Sue and Sophie and Gracie, who are going to give us all the answers tonight, and they're going to whisper them into my ear, and then they're going to go get a treat, I'm quite sure. So welcome to the short answer. I am, Sophie likes it when I talk quietly. Okay, we'll see you later. And, okay, so we're here with the short answer, and here in Indianapolis with an amazing group of people for level 3 of the energy codes. That would be you. Yeah. You should see what I'm looking at. You want to talk about bright light. It's amazing. We've been in an awesome conversation today about how we begin to master life on Earth. This whole thing in the third dimension can be rather challenging when we get caught up in the story. And so we've been talking about how do you not get caught up in the story? How do you live from the soul, basically? How do you live from your essential true self and not be pulled out into the splat of life, into the distractions and the distortions that we experience every day? So we've been having an amazing time, and we're here with the short answer, giving you just a few tips about life that are drawn from the Energy Codes coursework. The Energy Codes coursework is our principles and practices that are designed to help you unattach from the analytical thinking mind and the protective personality, or the ego, which we don't like to call it an ego because nobody likes to have an ego, but people don't seem to mind having a protective personality, so we talk about it that way, and we get a lot of great work done when there's no more resistance in that department. And so we're learning how to do that and learning how to live from our authentic self, because life happens with grace and ease when we do. And until we do, life is pretty hard. It's pretty challenging, it's pretty exhausting and frustrating, and all kinds of things begin to happen. We begin to implode, our bodies break down, we start to age, and it's just not a lot of fun. So what we're doing is recognizing that we're actually here supposed to embody the highest frequency energies that we can imagine, and they're supposed to come into the body and animate and activate our cells at such a level that they actually have the opportunity of rearranging our DNA, rearranging our cellular structure and our function, certainly making it easier to change our beliefs by recognizing how to tap the energy itself, because that's the truth of who you are. You are the energy being. You are awareness itself. And when we start to animate as that, everything changes. So we're here now getting really good at that. That's what level 3 is all about. So we've been talking today about relationship and engaging in a space shared with other, and how we begin to master that, and what's kind of happening in the bioenergetics of relationship. And so I thought I might share some of that with you in just a brief manner to allow maybe some tips that will help you in relationship. One of the things that I wanted to wanted us to just kind of come on topic with is that this toric field energy flow is what's happening in your physical body all the time. Energy is pouring in from overhead, dropping into the earth, and then it gets stepped down to what I call suitable for human consumption, and then it rises back up through the body. And ideally, it would rise all the way back up, and we would know ourselves as creator. We would know ourselves as God's stuff, made of God's source energy, made of resource itself, the unified field in the body. And if we were awake to that, we would know that the things that happen in our lives are not obstacles. They're opportunities for us to build circuits so that we can stay in love and compassion no matter what is going on. But because we're here to learn that, there are some circuits that are not yet in place for us to be able to perceive that right off the bat. We come here, we land, we splat, we disperse, and when we do, we start to become attached to the mind. We splat, the mind goes one way, the body goes another way, the breath goes another way, and the next thing you know, we're trying to figure out who we are. So we start identifying with the mind in an attempt to figure out, I don't know what just happened, but if it happens again, I'm going to be ready. And so when we begin to do that, everything starts to fall apart, frankly. And as we continue to live attached to the mind, life becomes story-oriented, and we become at the effect of the story, the things that happen to us, the people that come into our lives, the circumstances that are dropped into our lap. They seem to be overwhelming, and they don't need to be, but they are as long as we're operating that way. Under those circumstances, this is what starts to happen. There are areas in our system that don't have circuits for communication. And so the energies, the aspects of our consciousness that are represented by one chakra or another, just levels of consciousness, aren't talking to each other. So our wisdom doesn't connect with our power, and our power doesn't connect with love, and our ability to manifest is way off on its own. And we're not integrating all of those essences, all of those energies of ourselves all at the same time. When that is happening, what we end up doing is feeling isolated, separated, compromised in some way, and we start interacting with people as though that's true. And so we attract people to us that are operating under similar but opposite patterns. For instance, if this distortion is here and it's creating a distortion in the field over here, there's an equal and opposite distortion that's going to be attracted to you, because collectively you're going to have some kind of thwarted balancing out of each other's issues. Sounds great, and when they show up, it feels like everything's magic, and I finally have found my soulmate, and everything is whole, and it's beautiful. The problem is, the universe isn't going to stand for that very long. Eventually, it's going to have to perfect each individual within the system, no matter what. Now, that's when the tangle starts. That's when the challenge and the friction picks up, because we basically have to correct for whatever distortion is in our own system. So we have to build the circuits to perfect it. And as we're going up against our own stuff, what they're doing agitates us like there is no tomorrow. And so sometimes we have to separate from one another in order to get it together, in order to not have the rattle of your field bumping up against the rattle of my field so loudly that I can't think straight. I can't get myself together. So perhaps you've heard me say in this community somewhere along the way that it's not okay to go until it's okay to stay. And the reason that I say that is, if we're starting to experience that rattle, that wobble, that clackety-clack that's happening in the relationship, and we just leave, then the problem is, the chances are, we're going to attract another field that's equal and opposite of ours, and we're going to just pick up where we left off. The problem is, it's going to take a few years for you to get back to the point where you realize, oh yeah, I was supposed to do that work on my own. Because you're going to attract another person that solves all your problems and things feel good again, and there you are. But in the long run, the universe isn't going to tolerate the fact that this system has a distortion in it individually. The holographic reality comes down to a single point of consciousness. What that means in easy terms is your field has to be perfected on its own without the use of something around you to fix it for you. So, of course, that second relationship is going to hit the ground in a lovely way, and then it's going to pick up the friction so that you start to address what's causing this wobble in your field and this distortion in the outpicturing of your life. So it's not okay to go until it's okay to stay, in that you have to take care of your own business. You have to take care of business here. And I also say it's not okay to go until it's okay to stay. It's not okay to stay until it's okay to go. It's not okay to just hang in here and feel the wholeness of the combination of your energy patterns. Instead, you have to be able to bring your wholeness in on your own. So we can't use relationship to falsely feel safe either. So it's not okay to go until it's okay to stay, and it's not okay to stay until it's okay to go. So what do I do? How do I know which one I'm supposed to be doing here? I just know that the rattle and the wobble and the clackety-clack is so loud that I can't take it. So a question came up as we were getting ready to start this, in that, the question was, how do I know if I still feel a charge or there's still energy there, but I'm separating out so that I can find my own space to create a sense of sanity in here and build the circuits that I need to build and be a responsible steward for my own energy? How do I know if that charge is still there, that I didn't leave too soon? How am I going to tell the difference? So what I want to offer up about something like that is this. It's really smart to not draw a conclusion. It's really, really smart to take one step at a time. And the thinking mind wants to have the answer and then live into it. And the essential self wants to live into discovering the answer. And so your authenticity wants you to take a step in the direction of responsible stewardship. Whatever is required in this moment for you to take that step for responsible stewardship is what you have to do. And so if separating out, you're separating away from the relationship for a moment so that you can do this. that's leaving an open-ended situation that is going to allow you to arrive at what's authentically meant to be for you. But what we tend to do from the thinking mind is say, this isn't working, I'm out of here, gotta go, gotta make a clean break, it's done, I love you, bye-bye. And what happens under those circumstances is, if that's not the ultimate answer, we're gonna spin out and spin around again and again still. So the suspending of the final conclusion is a really good idea. If you just take one step in a direction, then you begin to unfold into the answer, and the answer gets revealed to the mind, rather than the mind sensing the answer and then forcing us to try to fill in the gap. It's also a lot less painful that way, if you just allow the open possibilities while you're filling in the gaps and correcting for your own wobble and your own distortion, so that we can go perfected field to perfected field and share a life on heaven, earth together. So hopefully that might be helpful for a few people out there. I hope so. If you're interested in diving deeper into a conversation, we're about to get one started. The master class follows. You just click on the button below where you're looking right now, and you can join us for the master class, where all of these amazing people are going to ask amazing questions, right? And some amazing answers are going to come through Gracie, and she's going to tell me, and I'm going to translate them for you. So I look forward to that happening, and join us in just a few moments in the master class. See you then. Namaste.